Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I upload random ass videos. And now I'm going to be uploading a lot of stuff that pertains to fitness, right? Because I am an athlete. I have been an athlete since I was a kid. Seriously, since I've been a kid. And today's video is going to actually be about breathing, right? Crazy, right? Not just your everyday breathing where we walk around and I'm just like breathing through your nose, out through your mouth. No. So we're going to actually talk about breathing when it comes to running, when it comes to lifting, and when it comes to fighting, right? And at the end of this, in between each conversation or each topic, I would say, I'm going to have an example. Now, I won't have an example for running. That's just something you're going to have to try on your own, right? It's not something I can show you. I mean, you can see me running and breathing if you'd like to, but I mean, you would have to apply it to your own running, right? As opposed to watching me do it, you know? But let me get some coffee because it is morning. It's like 11 right now for me, I think. Yeah, 11:04 here on the West Coast. So, your runner's breath, right? Let's talk about that. So, runners, as a runner, you develop a running rhythm. I tried combining the words, a running rhythm. So, a running rhythm consists of two different rhythms. Now, there's another one, and it helps you to work on your running rhythm, but I don't like that one because it's an odd number. It's a 3-2. Now, the ones that I use are a 3-3 and a 2-2. Easy, even numbers, and what that does, it evenly distributes your breath on both sides of your body. Now, what that means is if you're a runner and you're breathing in every single step, right? So what's happening is you're breathing in on the same leg every single time and breathing out on the same leg every single time. And there's going to be a link in the description box below that's saying why that's bad, right? Because, in layman's terms, if you're breathing in all on the same side and breathing out on the same side, you're going to be basically feeling it a lot more on one side as you would the other, right? Because when you breathe in, your body, I guess, becomes heavy, right? And when you breathe out, your body relaxes, right? And we'll talk about that when it comes to fighting, right? But developing a breathing rhythm helps you regulate. It helps regulate your heart rate, right? And it makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're not going to be out of breath. Your body's able to run for longer periods of time, and yeah, it feels good to be able to breathe and not. That sucks. So, when it comes to a 2-2 rhythm and a 3-3 rhythm, right, you can test these out and you can try them on your own. This is just what works for me, right? So when I'm doing sprints, like short distance running, I use a 2-2. Now what that means is I breathe in every 2 steps and I breathe out every 2 steps, right? So what happens with that is I'm evenly distributing my breath on both sides, right? So each side is feeling heavy, each side is feeling light, right? So as I'm running, cool, super simple. Now, when I'm doing long distance running, I'm doing a 3-3. I'm breathing in every 3 steps, and I'm breathing out every 3 steps. And I apologize for the shaky video. I don't have a tripod that gets good angles. I have a tiny one that gets low angles. And I don't have anything high in here to put it on. Well, I do, but I'd have to rearrange some stuff, and I don't want to do that because that's just, it's a lot of work. And so I just have it on a stick. So this is pretty cool. Let me know if you hate the shakiness. I apologize. I will work on getting better equipment in the future. Right? So 3-3 rhythm just allows you to run for a longer period of time. Right? Makes you feel comfortable. But so the trick to this is not just breathing through your chest cavity, you have to breathe through your diaphragm, because when you breathe through your diaphragm, that allows you to take in more breath, more air. It allows you to take in more air. So try that out, okay? And like I said, there's not going to be an example for this one because this one has to be personal application on your own. But again, if you want more information, I'm going to put a link in the description box below where it's broken down for you. Okay? Now let's move on. Let's talk about a fighter's breath. So when it comes to fighting, it's very simple, right? Don't hold your breath while you fight. Don't hold your breath while you throw a punch. And I'm going to have an example of how it's going to sound. And okay, I guess I could do it for you right now. But when you throw a punch, when you throw a kick, you want to breathe out, right? Short breaths. And you want it to breathe through your teeth, almost like a snake. Snake. If you know where that's from, Trevor Noah. It's funny. But yeah, so when I throw a punch, right, it's going to sound like that. Very short breaths. Right? And again, it's still coming from my diaphragm every time I take a deep breath. And don't worry about the breath that comes in because your body's going to naturally want to do that on its own. When I speak, I'm not focusing on taking my breath in. My body's already doing that on its own. When we walk and talk, we don't focus on our breathing. We just walk, talk, and breathe. It just happens. So when I throw a punch, my only focus is to release, right? Every time I throw a punch, every time I throw a kick, right? Release. Now your body, it may sound louder or, lighter as your punches get more rigorous, as your kicks get stronger, more powerful, right? I'm not going to tell you whether your loud breathing is wrong or not. Just make sure it sounds like this, right? And if it gets louder, hey, you're probably working real hard, right? But I will have an example of that. And yeah, now all it is like I said, when it comes to your running, same thing. When you're holding a breath in, your body is feeling heavy. Now, as a fighter, when you're holding your breath in while you're trying to punch or kick, you will get gassed really quick. You'll lose the fight if you're holding your breath. Unless the guy really sucks, then hey, kudos to you. But the next fight, let's maybe focus on breathing. All right. All right, guys. So here's your. Those are your examples on breathing and punches. So, throw a jab, throw a cross, any punch, breathing out, kicks. So now, let's talk about lifting. Right? So, as a lifter, I've been seriously lifting for the past 5 years, right? Before that, I was a Marine Corps vet, right? And we had a gym right there for us all the time. But me and my friends, we went to the padded room with all the boxing, kickboxing equipment and did that. So we were always training Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, all that stuff. That's what we wanted to do. The only time we ever touched the weights were when we were told to, or when we were just like, let's change up our workout today. Let's focus on some strength stuff, because when you're fighting, right, you want to be strong too. Now, can you get strong without weights? Hell yeah, of course. Now, does it take a little bit longer, have a little more patience? Yes, of course. When you're using weights, you're able to load more weight and you're able to get stronger quicker that way. When you're just using your body weight, yes, you can load weight. You can do progressive overload when you're doing calisthenics, right? But let's say you're doing calisthenics out at the park. Are you really gonna bring weights to the park with you every single time? Nah, dude. No, I'm not. So when I go to the gym, it just allows me to do that progressive overload in an area where I don't have to bring my own weights. So you can get stronger without weights, but it's a lot faster when you have them. But so there was that. But when I broke it down into, your regular split, right? So you have push, pull, leg. That'd be your split. So when you're performing a push day, I'm gonna have examples at the end of this topic, right? When you're performing a push day, any push exercise, you want to breathe out, right, on the way up. So if I'm doing a bench press, right? Bench press, I'm breathing in on the way down and out on the way up, right? That's just what works for me. That's what I've been doing for the past 5 years because I think of pushing the weight as a fighter. Now, when you're doing a pull day, it's going to be the opposite. Only because on a push day, I need to get the weight off of me and I don't want to hold my breath and blow some brain cells when I'm trying to push it. Now on a pull day, the weight is reversed. I'm trying to pull the weight, so that's where the exertion is going to be. So I want to blow out when I'm pulling in, right? So as I pull the weight towards me, I want to breathe out. Now, when I'm releasing it, I want to take my breath in, right? That's just what works for me. If you breathe a different way and that's what works for you, maybe give this a shot. And if it still doesn't work, hey, you know what? Stick to what you're doing. This is just coming from personal experience, right? Now, when it comes to leg day has both push and pull. So on your push exercises, you will be breathing out. On your pull exercises, you will be breathing out. Right? Easier said than done. Boom. But give it a shot, right? When I pull in, I breathe out. When I push, I breathe out, right? So, like I said, these are all based on, when it comes to lifting, that's based on personal experience for me. No one's ever told me how to breathe when I lift. I know as a power lifter, a lot of power lifters at the bottom of their movement, they like to hold their breath, right? I don't like to hold my breath because then I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I do hold my breath for a little bit. Let's say when you're doing a squat, right? When you're doing a squat and you're at the bottom of a movement, right before, right, you take that big old breath. You're going down and you're still holding your breath. When you get to the bottom of your movement and you're pushing up, you're still holding. And then you release when you feel like you're gonna get it, right? I like to slowly release my breath when I get to the bottom of the movement. I like to slowly release my breath on the way up. That way I don't feel heavy. I don't feel like I'm gonna pass out. But like I said, I've seen powerlifters that look like they're holding their breath the whole movement. So do whatever works for you. Do whatever. If you have a coach that's coaching you for a powerlifting competition, do whatever your coach tells you. Now, if you're doing hypertrophy movement, I would suggest trying a different breathing pattern. And if you're just lifting to lift, try this out. Cool. If you're a beginner lifter, try it. And then let me know what you think, right? So that is my 2 cents on breathing. And again, I'll have examples of fighting breathing and lifting breathing. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys have a great day. And again, if you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to help a brother out, click the thumbs up button. Why am I doing that? If y'all know who Whitney Simmons is, it's the funniest thing. Go check. She does that at the end of all her videos. Yeah, thumbs up. But I'm not gonna do that at the end of all my videos. I just think it's funny. All right, guys. Have a great day. Peace. All right, breathing on a push day, right? I'll breathe in, go into the bottom of the movement. And out on the one. Now, if we're doing a pull motion, right? So I'll just do an example of a bent over row. I'm breathing out when I'm pulling the weight towards me, and in when I'm bringing it away from me. Now, same can be said for a squat, right? Taking my breath in and out on the way up. So when it comes to your pull motion, so I'll do an example of a bent over row. So when you're doing a bent over row, you're going to want to breathe out when you pull the weight towards you and breathe in when you're bringing the weight away from you, right? So right? So now, let's say leg day, right? So leg day, you'll have both push and pull. So if you're doing, let's say, hamstring curls, you're going to want to breathe out when pulling the weight towards you as well, because that's a pulling motion. Right? So now, when you're doing a squat, right, that's a pushing motion. So I'm going to want to breathe in on the way down and out on the way up. Hope that helps. Try it out.